Beth, thank you. You mentioned the 10 games tonight in the challenge. These are the 4 remaining games on ESPN and ESPN2. We're going to take you right up to the top of the hour for Coach Yo and Ole Miss taking on NC State, fresh off a Final Four appearance last year over on ESPN. And if I'm an NC State fan, I'm coming off a Siege of the Joy, maybe their best season ever, the Final Four, 10.5 minutes away, as I mentioned. Ole Miss is in town. We're looking forward to that. That's coming up here on ESPN2 right
Superstar
around.
right there, Zubin. Isaiah James, tough, offensive. Ole Miss is going to have their hands full with her.
Ole Miss, North Carolina State is next here on ESPN2. Texas and Notre Dame on ESPN, and we'll see you at the half.
It's V-Week on ESPN as we continue Jim Valvano's fight against cancer.
You are watching the SEC ACC Women's Challenge, and we come to you tonight from historic Reynolds Coliseum on the campus of NC State as the Wolfpack get ready to take on the Ole Miss Rebels. They have not played each other in women's basketball since 2008. And all losses for both teams have come to ranked squads, so challenging schedules early on in this 24-25 season. And we welcome you to Reynolds. Pam Ward along with Stephanie White, who's an All-American at Purdue, and now the head coach of the Indiana Fever. All right, this challenge right now, the SEC leads it 4-3 now that Carolina's beating Kentucky.
Yeah, they do, but I think the SEC pulls away in this slate tonight, and I'm really excited about the opportunity to watch these new teams coming into both of these leagues, not just throughout this challenge, but throughout the course of the season.
And we all know what Stanford has done in their women's basketball history. Let's look at this game now with Ole Miss. This is a team that really hangs its hat on defense.
Yeah, Ole Miss is a team that is going to get into you on the defensive end of the floor. That's how they create their offense. They use their length, their size, their speed, their athleticism, and they will pressure you 94 feet, 28 points per game off of turnovers. They're forcing nearly 25 a ball game, and that is really what gets them going. Coach Yo uses her bench. She goes deep into the roster, and that allows them to play at this frenetic pace on the defensive end for 40 minutes.
Feasting off of those turnovers, they're only giving up on average 47 points per game. Now, for NC State, go out all the way to the Final Four last year. There are 3 returning starters, all very talented guards.
Yeah, they have a veteran backcourt, and Zoe Brooks in just her sophomore season certainly got a lot of experience a year ago. And these 3 have to lead the way. They have to carry the load, need to be consistent, need to be shot makers and shot creators for their team.
Sanaya Rivers just under 10 points a game, averaged 12.5 last year. This is a club that was unranked to start the season, got all the way to the Final Four. They have just dropped out of the Associated Press poll, even though their losses have come to 3 teams that are currently ranked in the top 10. So Ole Miss wearing the blue. Todd Williams, who knows this gym well, played for North Carolina before transferring to Ole Miss with the Miss, and now Isaiah James, who has had a terrific arc to her career. Outside, great start for Rivers.
Now, you mentioned Sanaya Rivers, and she's averaging just under 10 points a game, had 21 against LSU. And in my opinion, she has to play more offensively minded. They're going to need her to be a double-digit scorer, a go-to scorer.
That's only the 5th 3 that she has buried this year, shooting 24% coming into this game. Ole Miss, boy, offensive rebounding really is an important part of their game, and Wes Moore, the head coach for NC State, was particularly concerned about shutting that down. Madison Scott, a grad out of Indian Head, Maryland, playing her final year of eligibility with the Miss. Zoe Brooks, the point guard for this club, looks over.
And I like this matchup, putting Maddie Scott on Zoe Brooks. She's able to use her length, try to take away the vision of Zoe Brooks, but I'd like to see her up in her a little bit more ball pressure.
Yeah, you see Scott at 6'2", decidedly taller. Shot clock skinny for Rivers. Misses wide right. And Todd Williams comes up with the basketball. Long range shot. No good. Ole Miss off to a cold start. They have missed all 4 of their shots. State just 1 for 2. That was Rivers' 3. No one else has taken a shot until James, who got it blocked at the basket by Scott. Another three, another miss.
Now, if you're NC State, that's exactly what you want. You're going to be okay with Ole Miss taking threes as long as you secure the defensive board so that it can lead to breaks like that.
Sinai Rivers now with all 5 of the points in this game. And we talked to Yolette McPhee-McEwen, the head coach for Ole Miss, that she wanted to script the first several plays, but you've just seen a lot of quick shots.
No, she wants opportunities if they have the advantage in transition, but if they don't, she certainly wants to really script what looks they're going to get, what opportunities they're going to get in the quarter-court. But those are shots right there that you got to be ready to take.
Especially with the shot clock winding down, Sadler did not take it, and that led to the difficult attempt by Star Jacobs. Sat out last year after transferring from Arkansas Pine Bluff. Brooks saw a little bit of an opening and attacked beautifully.
Well, Coach O talked to her team about the ability of NC State guards to get 2 feet in the paint, to attack off the bounce, and they are doing an outstanding job of it already.
Yes, that was one of Coach O's points of emphasis, and Brooks was able to take it right to the hole. Ole Miss 0 for 6 from the floor. Scott. And now the shot clock again is winding down. And another miss. Mallory Collier coming up with the rebound at 6'3". Their tallest starter, trying to replace River Baldwin in the middle. They just lost it on the spin move. State did a good job of shutting down transition, and Todd Williams had her shot blocked. Sinai Rivers off to a great start on both ends.
Oh, and NC State does such a good job of defending without fouling. They force you into tough driving lanes. They do a good job. Here's offensively, Zoe Brooks just attacking the paint, getting 2 feet in the paint, and a tough, strong finish. But they might not beat you one-on-one with quickness offensively, and same thing on the defensive end, but fundamental defense, doing a great job of staying vertical and forcing you to hit tough twos.
And you're talking about how little NC State fouls. In fact, they are first in the nation, only averaging, fouling, how about 11 personal fouls per game? That doesn't even sound right. Leading the nation.
They're disciplined, and that's one thing that Westmore preaches, disciplined defense. Make teams hit tough shots. Good rotation right there by Isaiah James.
James able to save it on the baseline. And Brooks somehow was able to get that shot up and in. That seemed impossible. Barely had possession of it, but she made it work. And the Wolfpack have blazed out to a 9-0 lead.
Well, NC State playing a little bit like their back is against the wall, right? Aggressive to the rim. This is a tough finish by Zoe Brooks. Might have gotten a little bit of contact, too. Okay, Wolfpack.
Welcome back to Raleigh, where the NC State Wolfpack made only their second Final Four last year, both seasons. They started out unranked, got all the way to the Final Four, did it back in 1998 when Kay Yao was the head coach, and some photographs of them celebrating getting to the Final Four, where their season was ended by eventual national champion South Carolina. And Westmore bringing back the 3 starters, James, Hayes, and Rivers, picked to finish behind Notre Dame in the ACC. And all 3 of their losses, Steph White, have been, to say the least, respectable.
Yeah, they absolutely have. I mean, think about losing to South Carolina early in the year, and at TCU, a tough ball game, a 3-point loss, and again to LSU. And this is a tough schedule that Westmore has put together. He talked about it might have been a little too tough, but at the same time, I think this is a team that's going to benefit from those tough matchups early.
Yeah, so they just flat out have to start playing better basketball, but long way to go in the season. And Ole Miss, after missing their first 8 shots from the floor, get one to fall, and it's KK Deans leading his team in scoring at 12 points per game. Second year at Ole Miss. but only played 6 games last year before she blew out her knee. Rivers, sounds like, it's almost like she heard what you were saying. She's being aggressive to the basket tonight.
I think she has to be. I mean, I really think it's not acceptable for Sanaya Rivers to be an under 10-point per game scorer for this team. Not if NC State wants to do what they're capable of doing. I think she has to be more aggressive to the rim. I think she's got to look for her shot. We know she can facilitate. We know she's an outstanding defender, but I think she's got to take more ownership of her offensive game.
Christine Owala, who is a transfer from UCLA, fouled Collier, who heads to the free throw line. And a lot on Mallory Collier's shoulders. Tied a career high with 6 rebounds in 19 minutes in their last game against LSU. But this is a team that lost both Mimi Collins and River Baldwin last year. Able to deliver at the line, pardon me.
And Mallory Collier's a player who got some minutes a year ago, but not as many meaningful minutes as she's been getting already early in this season.
Todd Williams with the miss. And Pat continuing to do a good job of keeping Ole Miss from getting second chances.
And there was a point of emphasis, and Westmore talked to us about the fact that we are a poor defensive rebounding team, and for us to be successful, we have to be a great defensive rebounding team. So they've made an effort, and you can tell they've worked on it in practice.
Hayes with the miss, then Ole Miss couldn't hang on to the basketball. 2 turnovers now for the Rebels. Westmore now in his 12th year here in Raleigh, 36 years overall. He only had 1 losing season in those 36 years. That was his first year at Chattanooga. And then the very next year, they won over 20 games and went to the NCAA tournament pretty much every year. So a very good coach. Chinu has been called for the personal foul. There's a good look at West. 3 times he has been the ACC Coach of the Year, and now he is number 2 among women's basketball coaches, active women's coaches in wins, behind Gino Auriemma.
Yes.
Now that Tara Vanderveer has retired, West moves into that number 2 slot.
Well, he's just done an outstanding job here. I mean, he understands the types of players that he wants to coach here at NC State. He gets them to play to the best of their ability, and I was happy for him in this NC State program to get back to the Final Four.
Yeah, it was a thrilling year last year. Come on, Sanaya Rivers.
Hey,
big time.
2 for 4 from the 3-point line in that loss against LSU, but may have finally found a little bit of rhythm and confidence offensively. Because she's not hesitating.
Nope, she was first team All-League last year and on the All-Defensive squad. Spent her freshman year at South Carolina. Dawn Staley said she'd get more playing time if she improved her defense, and then she became an All-Defensive player with the Pack. Brooks a little off balance. Good job to hunt it down by Hayes.
Oh, missed the one more right here. She had Isaiah James right here on the extra pass, and she missed it. And you know, Westmore talking about Zoe Brooks and just her evolution and her growth, and he certainly wants to see her assist-to-turnover ratio be better. But plays like that, being able to make the right pass, the right read at the right time to get your team the best shot on the floor.
Just a sophomore is Brooks, came in as the highest ranked recruit in NC State history. Top 10 recruit last year. Lorena Owu, number 1 in white, is checked in the middle for State to give Collier a break, and she comes up with the rebound. One of 3 freshmen, pardon me, you get quite a bit of playing time.
NC State just continuing to do a really good job of staying inside, of boxing out, securing those boards.
And she's got a height advantage underneath, but they couldn't get it. And now Dean's breaking away. A little primal scream after she got that one to fall in. KK Deans has all 4 of their points.
And this is what NC State needs, right? To turn it up defense, or NC State, Ole Miss, excuse me, to turn up their defense, to create some offense from that defense that allows them to set their pressure.
Brooks, quick first step. She's gotten hammered a couple of times. Has been looking for some fouls, none coming there. And then, oh, they lost her underneath. What a pass by Rivers.
Great find by Sanaya Rivers.
NC State up by 11. Rivers with 8 points, a block, a steal, and that sweet assist. She has twice as many points herself than Ole Miss does. Rebound by Chinley, but it's taken away. Brooks crashes to the floor after she runs into Chinu.
I mean, this is a great hustle play. Isaiah James gets a hand on it, and then Zoe Brooks pursuing the basketball. And oftentimes, when you're playing in matchups like this, it comes down to the hustle plays, the 50-50 balls. Who's going to get them? You see Isaiah James exiting the floor right now. She took a hard fall on the sideline.
That was the second foul on Iwala for Ole Miss. Devin Quigley, a freshman, number 0, checking in. The backcourt for State. And there's a chance for a three-point play for Awu, another of the freshmen.
This is just an outstanding play by Zoe Brooks. She's been getting to the rim. So now the first rotation comes. The second rotation is late. And what a finish by Awu.
Reina Awu from Illinois didn't start playing basketball to her freshman year in high school. Had been a volleyball player. And a nice hustle play by Hayes to grab the rebound, and then she got fouled. Well, NC State out-rebounding Ole Miss 14-6 so far in this game.
On the line for the Wolfpack, number 21, Madison Hayes.
Hayes going to the free throw line. Top 10 men's college basketball matchup coming your way this Saturday night on ESPN2 in the app as number 4 Kentucky takes on number 7 Gonzaga. It's at Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on Saturday. Climate Pledge, a beautiful building. Richardson had picked up that last foul for Ole Miss, down 19-4. And just nowhere to go with the basketball. Shot clock now into single digits. Deans with a miss. Rebound bounces into Rivers' hands as we go inside a minute in what has been an NC State first quarter. Rivers handing it off to Hayes. Shot clock winding down. They get it inside. Too much on the shot by Awu. Now the shot clock is off for the Rebels. Scott gets one to go. Just the third made field goal of the quarter for the Rebels. So NC State up 19-6 in a very impressive first quarter led by Sanaya Rivers. One quarter in the books. Steph?
NC State was dominant in that first quarter, and they did it by attacking the paint. We mentioned the guard play right off the top, and they have not disappointed. Attacking the paint, getting easy buckets. Tough finishes from Zoe Brooks on the interior as well. And you think about NC State coming off of a tough loss, really wanting to make a statement tonight. That first quarter was a first step towards it.
And what an impressive quarter it was, particularly for Brooks and Rivers, who combined for 14 points. Ole Miss, 3 of 16 from the floor, just 19%. Pam Ward and Stephanie White joining you from Reynolds Coliseum, part of the SEC ACC Challenge.
And you see Ole Miss is switching every on-ball screen, and if you're NC State, you want to look to get the matchup that you want and attack that.
And with the shot clock winding down, it is buried by Zamaria Jones, known as Sam, one of the talented freshmen.
Who's not afraid to take the big shots.
Oh no, I think she just showed us that. Rims in and out for Scott. She's been very active and draws the foul. The Rebels will take their first free throws of the game. And during the break between quarters, Isaiah James came back to the NC State bench, and that is because of a fall, this hard fall in the first quarter.
Yeah, Isaiah James, it looked like she took a face to the floor and was out in the back for a little while, but good to see her back on the bench.
First free throw attempt for anybody for Ole Miss after the Hayes foul sends the other Madison Scott to the line. First team All-SEC last year, preseason first teamer this year. Goes 1 out of 2.
And again, when you make a shot, make a free throw, it gives you an opportunity to set your pressure. But Madison Scott's another one, I think, to be a little bit more aggressive on the offensive end. You know, she does a great job of doing all the little things, making hustle plays, facilitating from that forward position. But she could be a go-to scorer as well.
See the assist to turnover ratio for Scott among the best in the country. She has one rim out. Mallory Collier back into the game. Her third rebound. Rivers gets it directly back.
It's a good switching lineup on the floor for Ole Miss on the defensive end.
Shot clock again. Dwindling, and there's a contact out on the perimeter. I think they're going to get Sadler for the foul. That is the first for her first year at Ole Miss after making stops at Washington and Colorado. And Ole Miss, this is a team with Coach O. She likes to play a lot of players. They are coming off a record-breaking and record-setting win against Alabama State. They're finding the points much more difficult to come by, but that's right in their wheelhouse with Dean scoring. Coach O telling us it's going to just take some time. They're still kind of feeling each other out, getting roles more and more defined. This is a team that lost in the second round to Notre Dame last year after they got to the Sweet 16 the year before that. So she's done a terrific job taking this squad to 3 straight NCAA tournaments. And you might notice Quentin Hillsman, he's got the glasses.
He does,
always showing up flashy.
Yes, he is.
The former Syracuse head coach.
Well, this is a way that Ole Miss can create a dent, right? Can make a little run. They've got to get some stops on the defensive end. They've got to be able to push tempo. They're having a tough time in the quarter court. NC State forcing them to take tough jump shots.
And just 1 second chance point for Ole Miss. There's another throwaway. That's a 6th turnover and then a foul around midcourt. And Isaiah James is indeed coming back into the game for the Pack. First time we've seen her since the face plant in the first quarter. And boy, this is a player, you just gotta love her story, right?
Yes.
And just sticking it out. When she was a freshman, she averaged 9.5 minutes per game, just 4 points. And incrementally, just more playing time, more production, and worked her butt off.
Well, she was a player who was also impacted by a veteran class getting an extra COVID year and transfers coming in as well. And she stuck it out. She continued to put in the work, and last year had a banner year.
Finish underneath for Star Jacobs. Well-traveled. Ole Miss, her 5th college.
And Ole Miss is a team that's played in some games where they've gotten down early. Think about USC and Paris to start the season. UConn as well. They've been able to come back in those games, so they're used to situations where they've dug themselves a little bit of a hole, and they just continue to chip away, and they let their defense start to ignite something for them offensively.
Ended up only losing to USC in Paris by 2 and gave UConn a contest later on. That 3, no good by Richardson. Good pace to the game. Gosh, James got hit again, but she's okay. It's 5-on-4 basketball right now. Ole Miss pulling the trigger. Sadler. That is their first made 3 of the game after they missed their first 7.
And how did they get it? They get it off of a turnover. NC State is a team that traditionally takes great care of the basketball. They don't turn it over a whole lot, but turnovers, bad shots fuel exactly what Ole Miss wants to do. And this is just a good job of continuing to stick with the game plan. If you're Ole Miss, right here, you see multiple players converging to Isaiah James, not allowing her an easy attack at the rim. And great decision-making by KK Deans, drawing a second layer of defense, finding the open three.
So Deans takes a break over on the sideline from Greensboro, North Carolina. Well, she's back in her home state, and Star Jacobs fouled James to get her to the line. Isaiah leading the team in scoring, assists, free throw percentage is spectacular, 94% from the line. And we heard that when she told Coach Moore she was coming back, when he thought she might transfer, when he actually leapt out of his chair. A big celebration jump for Coach Moore.
How high do you think that jump was?
I think the vertical for him was maybe record-breaking when he heard that Isaiah was coming back.
I bet it was. Adrenaline.
Zan Jones says, yeah, that was a foul. Zan from Greenville, North Carolina. McDonald's All-American and the High School Player of the Year in the state of North Carolina last year. So a lot of youth on this team. That foul on Chinu is her second. Jacobs goes out. Iwala coming back in for the Rebels.
And this is where if you're NC State, and you know that Ole Miss is switching all these on-ball screens, run an on-ball screen with Iwala, put her in it, and then allow your guards to attack her. You're automatically, if you don't get a shot, you're going to force a rotation. You're going to get a high percentage shot.
James has missed her 2 shots since coming back in.
That's a great take.
And there you go. The hoop and the foul for the Rebels.
And Coach O told us in shoot-around today that she wanted Tamia Sadler to be more aggressive on the offensive end. This is a great take, strong finish. We saw her knock down a 3, a possession earlier to get herself going. But she said Tamia Sadler came to Ole Miss because she wanted an expanded role. Now she has an expanded role and an opportunity, and we need her to step into that opportunity.
Missed the free throw. Says she's been sort of a utility player for her. Jones, so much confidence. Wow.
Hey, that's one of those no, yes kind of shots right there.
And a great reaction from the freshman. Breaks down defenses, and as we've seen, plays with a lot of confidence. Maddie Cox, the sophomore, grabs the miss. Comes from a very athletic family, including her sister Lauren Cox, had a great collegiate career at Baylor. Rivers, long 3. Todd Williams comes up with it. Ole Miss is trailed by as many as 16, trying to get it into single digits. That's a tough shot off glass.
I love that action for Ole Miss in transition. The double drag, any of their ball handlers, they're so good at getting downhill. And when you get that defensive board, just bring those bigs to them. That was just great execution.
Ole Miss scored just 6 points in the first quarter. They have 12 already. And they're getting their hands on the ball. And it's going to be Ole Miss ball when we come back.
Yeah, just chipping away, continuing to rely on their defense. And then when they get opportunities, taking advantage in transition. This is a strong finish by Kennedy Todd Williams.
College Football Championship weekend begins Friday.
ABC College Football Conference Championship lineup. It is jam-packed starting Friday. The American title between Tulane and Army. Then on Saturday, a triple header starting at noon Eastern time. The Big 12, the SEC, and then the ACC title and 3 newcomers. Arizona State, Texas, and SMU, all newbies to their conferences.
It's still really weird to think about a Power 4 instead of a Power 5, isn't it?
It's terrible. The demise of the late, great Pac-12. 2 of those teams in the ACC with Stanford and Cal. And NC State, they're excited. They're going to do a little Northern California weekend. They will be playing out there after the first of the year at Cal and then at Stanford on the 9th and the 12th of January, respectively.
And you think about Cal and Stanford having to come east for every road game.
Tough.
That's tough.
Yeah, it's nice for the teams to go west and be able to spend a weekend and go to Berkeley and Palo Alto, but conversely, it's not optimal.
No, it's not.
So NC State has 5 turnovers in this quarter and just 2 made field goals. And they're letting the shot clock wind down again. And a 3! Well, if you're in trouble, give it to number 3.
Yeah, that's a tough shot for Zam Jones. A tough position that she was put in, but steps up and knocks it down.
Absolutely fearless. Gets the lead back up to 11. See, Wallace not going to shoot from there. Sweet turnaround, but it just rimmed out for Scott. Ball goes over to the pack.
Well, shot clock winding down, and Rivers recognizes, and that's a tough closeout, tough defense, and Zam Jones knocks it down.
She has taken 3 shots tonight, all of them from distance, and she's hit every single one of them.
And I like the fire, I like the energy.
Yeah.
I like the fearlessness that this young player plays with.
Listed at 5'7", North Carolina native.
5'7" might be a little generous.
Yeah, maybe with those real thick sneakers now you can get. But boy, she's not playing like a freshman, at least confidence-wise. 19 seconds left on the shot clock. There's Zam. Samaria, her given name. But let's see what Zam does. She goes to her left. She attacks the hoop, puts it up. A little bit too strong. Offensive rebound by Awu, another freshman. The State hangs on to it.
I'd still like to see NC State put the 5 in the on-ball screen instead of the 4 and see how it would be played. Now, right now, this is a different type of lineup, but put somebody else in it. Maddie Scott's just going to switch, and she's going to be able to defend a perimeter player.
Now one-on-one, and Brooks wins that contest against Deans. Zoe now with 8. After the lead was cut from 8, NC State gets a little bit more breathing room.
Great kick.
And a terrific look out on the perimeter. But the miss by Thompson. Jones calling for it. She didn't pull the trigger, gave it to Brooks instead. Zoe Brooks off the Zam Jones assist. It's an 8-0 run. Timeout in Raleigh. So NC State on an 8-0 run, a lot of it because they're moving the ball well.
Yeah, they absolutely are. This is how they have to play. They have to have multiple players getting touches on every possession. A great job of making the extra pass, getting the best shot on the floor, and the celebrations continue. But you think back a year ago to NC State and their Final Four run coming in, didn't really know what to expect after the year prior graduating that stellar senior class. Didn't know what to expect. And the thing that made NC State so dangerous was their balance, their ball movement, that you never knew who was going to step up on a given night. Everybody touched the ball multiple possessions, and they've got to get back to playing that way. Not everybody has to take the shot, but if they get multiple players touching the ball, it creates the best shot.
Created a turnover there. Yeah, in fact, last year, NC State had 3 players who had at least 100 assists, which is highly unusual, and Westmore talked about that today in practice, how this team is a little bit different. Season's still very young. NC State at 4-3. But all 3 losses to really good teams. Well, TCU certainly proven how good they are. Shot clock again. Very teeny.
That was a great defensive possession by Ole Miss. Now see if they can get some offense out of it.
A good look and a better result for Sadler. Sadler now with 8 points as we go inside a minute in the first half. That breaks an 8-0 run for State.
We got to get the ball inside with a mismatch like this.
Or Jones can just take
she can shoot it and take another three.
She's hit all 4 of them.
Hey, she's feeling it right now. Continue to find that hot hand.
I looked over and Coach Moore was telling her, was waving her to go into the lane, and she just pulled it, and it worked.
She said, I'm feeling it.
4 threes matching her career high. She had 4 of them against South Carolina earlier this year. All 12 of her points coming in this quarter off the 3-point shots. And now State can get some more points. Brooks. Somehow it was able to get inside. Owu got the shot off, but it didn't land. As NC State leads at 37-21. How about Sam Jones with 12 points, hitting all of her threes there in the second quarter. So that does it for the first half with NC State up 37-21. Let's go to the studio, Zubin and Drea. You are watching the SEC ACC Women's Challenge, and Sam Jones, no conscience whatsoever. She's hit all 4 of her threes for the fiery freshman. And Zoe Brooks, who was a great freshman last year, part of that backcourt for NC State. They have a 16-point lead over Ole Miss as we get ready to start the second half here at Reynolds Coliseum. NC State coming off a loss to LSU around Thanksgiving, and Ole Miss challenging on offense. They only shot 27% in that first half. As we're about to tip it off, Pam Ward along with Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White. And boy, NC State, we've talked about it. They dropped out of the top 25, some tough losses. This looks like a good response.
Yeah, it certainly is. I think they felt a little bit like their back was against the wall. They came out here today, executed really well in the first half, played a nearly perfect game.
And they were nearly perfect from 3. Now, this is an Ole Miss team that usually defends the 3 very well. 20% on the season coming in, but it was a different story here in the first half.
It sure was. And I felt like NC State did a good job early attacking the paint, getting some easy buckets. So that forced rotation, then it opened up the 3-point line, and multiple players getting involved. Sanaya Rivers, Zoe Brooks, of course we saw Sam Jones as well. I mean, this NC State team that only averages a little over a 7 per game on the season. They had 7 in the first half, and they kept Ole Miss out of doing what they do best, and that is wreaking havoc on defense and creating offense from it.
And that is defense is what Coach Yo really prides herself on. But as you see, 20% on the season coming in, and 7 for 9. That's a sizzling 78% for the Wolfpack. Ole Miss really did a good job against USC and UConn. They shot combined 16% from distance. And those losses at NC State, and a lot of it, again, goes back to Sam Jones, who got a couple to beat shot clock buzzers. And meanwhile, Ole Miss, we talked also about their depth in the first half. They don't have any bench points tonight.
No, they don't, and they have had a hard time scoring. But let's not forget, this is an Ole Miss team that has been down at half before against tough opponents. USC down 19 to UConn, came back, had a 28-point third quarter because they were able to get out in transition. They were able to get some easy buckets, and then they knocked some shots down.
But that's a turnover. Deans threw it right to James, who gets her first basket since hitting the floor in the first quarter. In fact, it's her first basket of the night. She had taken 3 shots previously and missed them all.
When you get an opportunity in transition and you can't take advantage for Ole Miss, and Isaiah James just read it perfectly. A great job of attacking the defender and finishing with the contact.
Deans called for her first foul. And the very good news for NC State is that James only came away with a chipped tooth after a face plant that looked pretty scary. So very fortunate that she is okay. Their leading scorer just under 18 points per game. Good defense by Hayes. NC State has led from the get-go in this game. And their 18-point lead now, their largest of the night. Sanaya Rivers got off to a great start, very aggressive attacking the basket in the first quarter. I expect her to shoot there.
Yes, I did too. I mean, it was a good read. There wasn't a second tide rotation, but that's when she can score.
Ooh, that's a nice move. Chinu getting the start here in the second half. Sierra is a true freshman from Mali. It's her first basket.
And that's a great move. She's a player who really can attack the paint, get some scores at the rim. Ole Miss is going to have to start creating some offense in the quarter court. NC State's keeping the pace exactly where they want it. They're not allowing Ole Miss to get out in transition. They're taking great care of the basketball.
Taking a lot of time off the clock as well. Shot clock now at 3. Zam Jones isn't in the game, so who's going to shoot? They don't get one off. There's a good defensive stop for the Rebels.
And I think you don't mind that if you're Westmore, rather than throwing up something or trying to create something out of nothing and getting a turnover or a long shot that leads to a transition break for Ole Miss.
The 11th turnover for the Pack. Ole Miss has forced at least 18 turnovers in their previous 7 games this year. And that's just part of their MO. Here's a turnover, 2-on-2. James gets it over to Brooks, who slices in for the bucket. 13 for Zoe. Gets the lead back up to 18. That ball was thrown and just rescued in the nick of time by Richardson. Todd Williams, the North Carolina transfer, with time winding down. Richardson for 3, back rims it, and Chino able to get inside. Rivers hit the deck, and then the second chance opportunity worked for Sadler.
Well, that's the other way Ole Miss scores a lot of buckets, right? Offensive rebound putbacks, and NC State in the first half did a great job of defensive rebounding. Now if you're Ole Miss, you just got to chip away. You got to get some stops. You can't be trading buckets, though.
Continuing to give up the offensive rebounds. Hayes with her second basket. You mentioned Ole Miss on the offensive glass on the season, averaging 19.5 O boards per game. The coach would like to see them up their points off of those second chances. Todd Williams with the miss. Hayes running the floor well. And a good job to cut off Rivers, and then in the little secondary action, there's James. Isaiah James held scoreless in that first half, limited to just 12 minutes after chipping her tooth on a hard fall. Richardson coming out aggressive, but that's another miss. Hayes with the rebound, and Ole Miss is going to sub in 3 players at the next whistle. Brooks.
I think sometimes when you think about teams that score a lot in transition, that create a lot of havoc in their turnovers, that are high risk, high reward, sometimes if they don't get those turnovers right, the quarter court defense struggles a little bit, and Ole Miss wants to talk about it. They got to get it figured out.
6-0 run for State. Timeout at Reynolds.
But I mean, do you really want to call your basketball team Ole Miss?
All right. We're going to not talk too much. We're going to let our game do our talking. I'm sorry.
Give them their money. Yeah.
All right.
Both teams having a little bit of fun for this SEC-ACC Challenge. The SEC has won 4 of 7 games so far. Wow, Oklahoma down 17, came back to beat Louisville yesterday. Peyton Verhulst, who started her career at Louisville, came back to really hurt her old school. And my goodness, North Carolina with a big win over Kentucky. There's exactly what Ole Miss needed, a chance at a three-point play as they come out of the break. And coming up at the top of the hour over on ESPN, it is South Carolina trying to get their 62nd straight home win as they take on Duke. But Carolina's biggest win against a ranked AP top 15 team since March of 2011. That's been a while.
It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a minute. Courtney Banghart and her squad getting it done. Oklahoma, I mean, that Oklahoma-Duke game was a marathon game as well.
Right?
But Peyton Verhulst 21-7 against their former team.
Scott with the miss after getting fouled by Awu and making the field goal. And there's a turnover. This is Ole Miss basketball. Turning you over, trying to score in transition. As we go inside, 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Too much from Scott. Perhaps anticipating some more contact. And you see James can calm it down.
That's that experience right there. Sensing where they are, sensing the pace is a little bit more in favor of Ole Miss, and you don't want to give your opponent any opportunities.
Inside, the double comes quickly on Awu.
I thought she traveled first.
But a foul has been called instead. Mai Forsberg, Jeffrey Smith, and Meadow Overstreet, our officials here. And there's the man, Jimmy V. It is indeed V Week here as we take a break outside of Reynolds Coliseum.
I never imagined that I'd be able to be standing here 20 years after Jimmy V's speech and say that because of all the donations, research, and support, mine is one of the lives that's been saved.
Robin Roberts, lover. It's V Week at ESPN when we partner with the V Foundation to highlight the urgent need for cancer research. This is game-changing research, helps save lives like Robin Roberts, like perhaps you and someone you love. You can join the fight against cancer. Visit v.org/donate. 100% of your donation goes directly to cancer research here at Valvano Arena at Reynolds Coliseum in Kayao Court.
Kayao Court, absolutely.
And Kayao, who succumbed to cancer herself, as did Jimmy V, touching this NC State community so deeply decades later. Outside shot missed by Deans. NC State up by 20. They have led this entire game. James left it short. There's another good rebound. Hayes has gotten a couple of key ones. Staying active. Are good rebounders born or made?
I think there's a natural instinct, a nose for the ball that good rebounders have, and then I think they learn how to track it, and that's a skill.
But you gotta want to, right?
You gotta want to. It's all effort.
Aru with the basket to get the lead up to 22. Scott, that's a nice dish, boy. Just couldn't finish, but Vela will have a chance at the free throw line. Sanaya Rivers picks up her first foul. Christine Uwula, pardon me, from San Antonio, Texas. Played a couple of years at UCLA. Her first year at Ole Miss. Bounces it in for her first points. NC State out rebounding Ole Miss now by 13 in this game.
I anticipate Ole Miss trying to come with a different type of pressure. It's been a little soft in the full court. Maybe trying to run a little run and jump or trapping, something that can allow them opportunities right here to try to create some turnovers and get a little bit of momentum. Because NC State has just done a great job of controlling tempo. Anytime Ole Miss started to get a little bit of life, they slowed it down. They've taken care of the ball. They've been dead ball turnovers. And there's one, but it's another dead ball turnover. So while it's frustrating because you don't give yourself an opportunity in offense, you can now set your defense.
13th turnover as NC State failed to get it past midcourt in 10 seconds. And we talk about Maddie Hayes rebounding. She's got 9. For State, there's, oh boy, they give it right back. Brooks, the point guard, just a sophomore. Shot clock at 7. Brooks attacks the basket. A little hesitation. 17 points now.
She's been so good. Her pace has been really good. Her understanding of what Westmore wants out of the offense has been on point.
And just her second year. One of her goals coming in and wanted to lead the team in assists this season. Right now she is behind Rivers, or excuse me, James, but just barely. Scott gets the basket. But they had a great look to Awu, and it's been a good night for Zoe Brooks.
Yeah, it sure has. And execution, working the entire shot clock. You get to the third action, and she just does a great job of attacking the paint. Remember a year ago, she would oftentimes throw her body trying to get the foul in those situations. Now, much more on balance, in control.
Out by Sadler. Zoe is from Plainfield, New Jersey. First 7 games last year. As that shot is off the mark by Awu. She didn't. Remember, she started wearing goggles like 8 games in, and then after that went to contacts. First 7 games, nothing on her eyes. And things started to get better once she went with the help, but she's very talented. Had a triple-double, only the second triple-double in NC State history. Had that last year against Liberty. Well, in that time, Brooks got beaten off the bounce by Tamia Sadler.
I like how aggressive Sadler's been. Coach O talked to us about needing a little bit more from her, and she's stepping up to that challenge.
12 points, the only Rebel in double figures tonight.
And a team that has 4 players that average double figures. Since Star Jones has not gotten going, Kennedy Todd Williams has not gotten going. KK Deans.
Yeah, it's been indeed difficult. They're only shooting 30% from the floor. Is Ole Miss for Coach Yo. Foul by Jacobs sends James to the line. ACC Network, the place to be on Sunday afternoon, as we got a triple header starting at noon Eastern. Notre Dame plays at Syracuse, then it's SMU, Florida State, and Virginia Tech, Duke. That's a triple header, ACC Network and on the app. And what should be a very exciting season in the ACC. And right now, Notre Dame is still leading Texas.
Yeah, you have that Notre Dame-Syracuse matchup.
Yes. It's going to be chilly.
I was going to say, it might be a little cold up there.
You're going to be warmer where you are.
Absolutely.
Texas?
I'm a little soft, so that's good.
Yeah, it was 50 degrees today, and you're talking about chilly. That's James. Zina with 8 points on the evening. State has hit 6 of its last 8 shots. Ole Miss almost gave it away. Rivers a pest, and then she gets called for the foul. Just the second on her.
Rivers' second personal, third.
Rivers got out of the blocks quickly, scoring 8 points early on, has not scored since then. Does have 5 rebounds and 3 assists. Cox tried to draw the charge, but instead it turned into a bucket for Scott.
So very early in the third, Madison Scott gets pulled out, maybe one possession in, and has come back much more aggressive to the rim. That's the Madison Scott that Ole Miss needs all the time.
Rivers got her hands on the ball, but Sheena was able to take it away. Cox thought she had a clean block, so did the faithful here in Packland, but that's a foul.
This is just a great job getting out in transition. It sure did look like Cox got all ball up top.
So the foul on Cox sends Scott to the line. Have you done those sending a message substitutions in your illustrious coaching career? You mentioned that she was taken out early in the third, put back in, and
I'm sure at some point I have.
Maybe.
Probably. I don't recall having to do it very often.
And that was early too in this third quarter.
It was
for
very
Scott.
early. It was
But
very
she's
early.
responded. You can either respond that way or pout, and
Yes.
pouting's not good.
No.
Now with the quarter coming to a close, Sam Jones threw it away, and an opportunity at the buzzer, but just a touch too late. As Chino took another step. NC State up 55-38, shooting 53% from the floor. Mai Forsberg going over to see if she indeed was too late with the shot.
ruling is no basket. The play's on a review.
That's no basket.
That is no basket.
Yeah. So Mai will make that decision. Should be
On-court ruling.
a quick one.
Ball still
We'll be
in
back
hand,
with
no
the fourth
basket.
quarter. NC State in control.
Two poor possessions right there.
So the NC State Wolfpack, preseason they were number 9 in the AP poll, but then they lost 3 games. All the teams that ultimately were in the top 10. The best strength of schedule for any Power 5 school, and they dropped out of the top 25 recently. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I was surprised that they dropped out of the top 25. You know, I don't think you punish a team for losing to 3 top 10 opponents. Now, at the time, TCU wasn't top 10, but certainly they have been the surprise team thus far in the NCAA. But, you know, when you look at some teams who don't have a blemish on their record or only have one whose schedules aren't even close to as competitive as NC State, no, I certainly don't like that. But at the end of the day, we know that the top 25 rankings don't matter when it comes to seeding and all of those other things. But they have played an incredibly tough schedule.
Madison Scott did a good job to draw a foul on Collier, so she heads to the free throw line. And remember last year, NC State was not ranked at all in the preseason top 25 in the AP, and not only did they make it into the, I mean, they were like in the top 10 before December even hit, because they got out of the gate so well, got some great wins.
Yes.
Including UConn, right?
Yes, they did. And you know, it's going to look a little different, but right here, this is what Ole Miss wants to do. Now, they need to continue to turn it up. You know, again, they had a 28-point third quarter against UConn, so they can score a lot of points in a hurry. So if you're NC State, you certainly want to manage the clock, but you've got to still get yourself good shot opportunities.
Shot clock again, winding down. James with the attack and another offensive rebound, that time by Collier. There's Sam Jones.
But that's what strong rim attacks do, right? Like, even if you don't score it, it forces rotation. That opens up offensive rebound opportunities.
Jones had 12 points on 4 threes in the second quarter. So her first points other than that. Todd Williams with the attack.
And NC State 7 threes in that first half. And I don't believe they have one here in the second half. So finding other ways to score.
Collier shuffled her feet. So the ball comes back over to Ole Miss. That's the 18th turnover. So now Ole Miss has forced at least 18 turnovers in all 8 of their games they have played. This is their 8th of the season.
And again, Pam, no coach loves turnovers, but a lot of these turnovers for NC State have been dead ball turnovers, not live ball turnovers that lead to momentum. But Madison Scott picking it up. She's giving her team a little bit of that momentum. And now again coming with a trapping press as opposed to the soft press.
Now, Ole Miss actually outscoring NC State in this half. That was a gift that fell right into the hands of Collier. He put it home. It was her first field goal of the game. 3 ball off the rim. Scott with one of the rare offensive rebounds. Everything's come very difficult for them. Todd Williams, good look. And there's the freshman, Jones. Cut off by
Good decision.
Scott.
Good decision. You don't have it. You don't have the advantage. Bring it back out. Run offense.
Scott with a big height advantage in that matchup against Jones. Brooks. Time is running out. James, a little bit of separation, wide right, hit the glass. Frantic pace as Todd Williams got it blocked. By who else? Zam looked over towards the band over there after the block. You can see a lot of people breathing hard over there on both sides. Great pace in this game. Todd Williams has picked up her second foul for the Rebels and heads to the bench. Zoe Brooks getting a breather, pardon me.
If you're NC State, yes, you want to, again, manage the clock. You want to make sure that you're working it down. You don't want to force or rush anything. But at the same time, you can still move the ball, right? It doesn't have to stay in one person's hands and then try to create something at the end of the shot clock. Move the ball a little bit, get multiple players touching it, and then get a great shot after that.
NC State has led by as many as 22 points in this game. It is now down to a 14-point advantage.
Previous plays under review for unsportsmanlike conduct after the whistle.
All right, so they're going to take a look to see if there was a little unsportsmanlike conduct, and we will come back with that after a short break. Thank you, Zubin and Drea, but stay on ESPN too, because that's where we are, right?
Right, absolutely.
Notre Dame, Texas in a good game here. We've just had Zoe Brooks after that review, unsportsmanlike because of this.
Yeah, the called foul, and then Zoe Brooks just tosses the ball at Kennedy Todd Williams, and the unsportsmanlike call means Ole Miss gets 2 shots and the ball. And again, like these are potentially momentum-changing plays.
That is a technical foul on Brooks.
You know, NC State, a team that wants to control tempo. Ole Miss, a team that can score in bunches because of how they can turn you over. And now you might just give them a little bit of momentum and that punch that they need to turn it up.
Brooks on the bench next to Ashley Williams, who graduated from here in 2017, played ball at State, now on the staff in her 3rd season. And that's a walk, boy. A chance for a nice 4-point play after the free throws, but Scott moved her feet. It's only the 8th turnover for Ole Miss. These two teams meeting for the 5th time. The last time was way back in 2008. State has won 3 of the previous 4. James with the turnaround. Collier with 3 blue jerseys around her. Hunting the basketball, got fouled.
Well, Collier has been big in this 4th quarter, getting multiple possessions. That was her potential third offensive rebound in this quarter. Does a good job of keeping inside position, pursuing the basketball, giving NC State another possession.
Madison Scott's 2nd foul. Collier now with 6 rebounds.
And Ole Miss plays this 1-3-1 baseline out of bounds that turns into a man-to-man, and sometimes it keeps you from finding seams and makes you not aggressive in running your out-of-bounds plays. And
shot clock is winding down now for James.
Yeah, illegal. She can turn that a little bit earlier. You see the way that Ole Miss is defending it. Just turn it a little earlier, turn it into a step up, and then allow Isaiah James to go to the rim.
The 2nd foul on Collier.
But this is what I'm talking about, Pam, where you can't get so conservative offensively that you don't get shots, you don't get good shots, and then you allow Ole Miss to chip away in this 4th quarter.
And they certainly can do that. You've already mentioned they've had comebacks against really good teams this year. Deans lost it.
A couple of missed opportunities, right? You got 2 possessions after the free throw, get the ball back and a travel, and then you come back, you get another stop, and you come back and turn the ball over again. I mean, that's 4 points that can get this into a single-digit ball game.
Ole Miss trailed by 22 at one point, 51-29. State has not scored a lot since then. It rims out, but Collier right there again. Chinu, very talented freshman, was able to grab it. Shows you how athletic she is. Able to go the length of the court and draw the foul.
And exactly what you want. Again, if you're Ole Miss, you're out in transition. You don't get an easy 2, but you get an opportunity to put points on the board with no time running off the clock. Now Coach Yo gets to sub and get ready for her pressure.
3rd foul on Rivers sends Chinu to the line. She's averaging just under 11 points per game. Hits that one. Men's basketball coming your way. How about this top 7 matchup as Kentucky takes on Gonzaga in Seattle? This is men's basketball, 10 Eastern Time Saturday on ESPN 2. You can also catch it on the app. Chinu delivers at the line. And there, the lead is at 10, and they force the turnover.
Yes, and this is the press that you want if you're Ole Miss. You want to use this full court, 1-2-2. Trapping, Madison Scott's long arms on the ball. You can do this after made free throws. You can do this after made buckets. And now you got NC State trying to inbound the ball along the inline, force another turnover.
NC State has turned the ball over 4 times in the last 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
And sometimes that happens. Again, I know you want to milk the clock and you want to make sure that you're giving yourself every opportunity, but then you get too soft, you get too conservative, and Maddie Scott continues to stay aggressive.
And how fired up is she? Now with 15 points, and the lead is at 8 as we go inside 5 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. NC State being outscored 13-4 in the quarter.
That's a great take, and Madison Scott's been aggressive in this 4th quarter, and she does a great job of attacking the rim. Might have gotten away with the foul right there. Sanaya Rivers across the arm.
Madison Hayes goes to the line after being fouled by Todd Williams.
And I like that call by Westmore to get a little backdoor. You know Ole Miss is going to be pressuring, but you got to connect at the free throw line, and NC State's left some on the line here tonight.
Boy, she missed them both. State just 6 of 14 from the free throw line. That was a travel. Mai Folsberg, good job to get it a little bit away from the ball as she dragged her pivot foot, and Mai shows us exactly.
That was a good demonstration.
I like that. You Mai played basketball at Hawaii.
It's a nice place to play ball, isn't it?
She said mostly she surfed, but you know, not a bad place to be. State almost turned it over in the backcourt, and then here's another foul on the Rebels. We're going full out now, really turning up the defensive intensity. Todd Williams now with 4 personals. 4th team foul. So the next one will send both teams to the line.
Spacing, no spacing. Rivers has to move. And now you're at the end of the clock again, having to make a one-on-one play.
Now they drive against Todd Williams. Little step back 3. Good box out by Scott. Here come the Rebels. Scott, coast to coast, offensive foul. Drawn by James.
Great play by Isaiah James. Just a great individual effort. I love how aggressive Madison Scott has been, but this is just a heck of a play by Isaiah James. That's close, though. She's still moving sideways and didn't get her feet down. You can still be moving, but...
Yeah, missed the reverse layout. Collier came up with the rebound, but then threw it away. Full speed ahead.
Gotta stop the ball.
And the follow.
I think you need a timeout if you're Westmoreland. I think you got to regroup. I think you got to talk about it.
Star Jacobs with the basket.
And he still has all of them.
Ole Miss on an 8-0 run since the unsportsmanlike technical foul called against Brooks. And they have cut what once was a 22-point lead in the 3rd quarter down to 6.
Well, we mentioned it. I mean, that could be a momentum-changing play. There's no doubt about it. The way Ole Miss defends, the way they can create turnovers quickly, they can score quickly. But also, I feel like NC State has just gotten too conservative on the offensive end of the floor. I mean, they are a team that drives, kicks, forces rotations, and they've been holding the ball, looking to milk the clock, maybe a little bit too early, and in return, they have not gotten good shot opportunities.
And this is what started the run. There's the play where Brooks threw the ball at Todd Williams' legs, and since then, it's been all Rebels.
It has, and Madison Scott has been aggressive to the rim. They've done a good job of creating offense from their defense, putting pressure on NC State, and gotten themselves right back in this ballgame.
NC State has missed its last 5 shots from the floor. We saw Madison Hayes miss 2 free throws as well during that stretch. And neither team has made a 3 here in the second half. And that was after NC State was 7 for 9 in the first half. 4 of them coming off the fingertips of Zam Jones.
And you mentioned the free throws. I mean, NC State as a team, 6 of 14. You know, leaving points at the free throw line, and now that last possession for NC State, you're under duress at the end of the shot clock. You know, you're putting pressure on Ole Miss, but you settle for a step back 3. Continue to put pressure on them. Get yourself opportunity at the foul line, or force a rotation and get a wide open shot. I just feel like NC State's gotten way too conservative.
And there you see the 8-0 run. That's over the last 3 minutes and change. Just a possession ball game. Let's see what they do out of the timeout. Brooks with the miss. And also with all these misses, their offensive rebounding is not as good as it had been earlier in the game. Todd Williams with a great look, and she buried it.
That's her spot. She's so good in that mid-range.
3 minutes to go. 4-point lead. Big-time pressure by Ole Miss. And State slows it down.
You've got to get something going to the rim right here.
Rivers, she's been really quiet offensively since the first quarter. They need something. It's got to be Hayes. Just chucked it up, and it went in. Oh, my goodness. Off the backboard, rattled around the rim, and we rolled in.
Are you kidding me? I mean, Madison Hayes even laughing. Now they're going to go and look and make sure she got it off.
The made basket by NC State was ruled a 2-point field goal. It's under review for 2 versus 3.
Yeah, it was a 2-point field goal. You see her splitting the 3-point line right there. But a couple of things, Pam, when you're talking about, again, I still think NC State's, a little too conservative. But they ran that double on-ball screen for Sanaya Rivers, and you put the switching guard on the last screen. So you really feed into the offense.
The made basket is confirmed a 2-point field goal.
That Ole Miss wants to run. Put Collier as the second screener, or let her be the only screener. Now she's running free for offensive rebounds. You're engaging multiple defenders, or if you switch, you get an opportunity to attack a big or pass it into Collier one-on-one against the guard.
NC State finding points hard to come by in this fourth quarter. They've only scored 6 points. 2 of them you just saw on that prayer of a shot by Hayes.
And now if you're Ole Miss, you got to continue to be in attack mode. Get to the rim. Oh, got her.
Good look again. And boy, Todd Williams with 5 quick points.
Great execution.
And big time pressure. James backrimmed it. Ball squirts loose and a foul. They're going to get Hayes.
Terrific execution by Ole Miss right here. You've got the double screen, multiple defenders go with the ball handler and Sadler, and Kennedy Todd Williams just running free on the fade. And then again, if you're Ole Miss, you beat the press, and instead of attacking with an advantage in a 3-on-2, you hold the ball, wait for the defense to set, and then try to attack one-on-one.
And that foul puts Ole Miss in the bonus. Todd Williams' first trip to the line tonight. WNBA expansion draft for the newest franchise, the Golden State Valkyries, tomorrow at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific on ESPN. 12 current teams protect 6 players. Check it out tomorrow night, 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Valkyries time. Todd Williams goes 1 of 2. They revealed their uniforms today. I approve.
I love that. They look great. Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness, that is a lot of contact. Chinu, pardon me, protest, but she did get quite a bit of contact. That's the 3rd on the freshman.
And that's a tough position to put Zoe Brooks in. I mean, she's drawing 2 blue jerseys. Just make the easy pass. Those are big free throws right here for Zoe Brooks.
And Chinu called for the foul. Brooks hasn't been to the line tonight. Just 68% on the season. Oh. They could have salted this game away a while ago if they hit their free throws. 0 for 2. They're shooting 38% from the free throw line tonight. They've missed 10 of 16.
Same play.
Todd Williams, same space, but nope. She walked before she got it off.
I mean, from over here, it looked like she traveled too, but I thought the call was late. Yeah, she caught it, hopped, and
a little stutter step.
Yeah, a little stutter, but I felt like the call was late.
Wow, that would have been enormous. Instead, it stays a 3-point ball game. A minute and a half to go. James.
Wow.
The first 3 of the half for NC State. And what a time to get it.
That's a big time shot by Isaiah James.
The crowd comes alive. She knew, barrels in, and gets fouled.
And NC State changed defense. They came down in a 2-3 zone, but what a big-time shot by Isaiah James. Zoe Brooks, just a little dribble punch, drew Sadler in enough to get Isaiah James the open three.
James leading the team, averaging about 2.5 threes per game. Buried a big one. She knew of several international players for Coach Yo, who is herself from the Bahamas. Six points now for the freshman from Mali. As we go inside a minute, 3-point ball game. Crunch time.
They get it across.
A little chancy pass. Brooks was able to gather it. Sanaya Rivers against Todd Williams. One-on-one, left it short. A three can tie the game.
We're in the penalty. I think he looked to attack.
Instead, Sadler tried to tie it, couldn't do it. Ball falls into the hands of Brooks, who is holding on to the ball, and Wes Moore took a timeout.
Sadler got a good look, but I thought with the advantage, Ole Miss look to attack, get to the free throw line again, maybe set your defense.
Sadler on the season, just 21% from distance, 3 of 14. And as you said, it looked like a good look. 2 of 6 from 3, however, in this game. So she's hit 5 threes on the year, and there is your reset. Both teams in the bonus, State with the basketball, and the ever important possession arrow, and one more timeout than the Rebels. So Ole Miss making a game out of this after being down by 22 points in the third quarter, and they had their chances.
They did have their chances. I mean, multiple chances, but you see the travel right there, the catch hop, and then the little shuffle, which would have tied the ball game. And then the big three on the other end by Isaiah James. She's been quiet by Isaiah James standards today, but that was a big-time shot.
Yeah, just 4 of 14 from the floor. Does have 5 rebounds and 3 assists, but playing with the chipped tooth. She's still fiddling with after, I mean, thank goodness she's all right, because that looked bad when she face planted back in the first quarter. And a foul right away will send Brooks to the free throw line.
And she just missed 2 in a row. So.
Sadler's third.
And if you're Ole Miss and she does miss the free throws, you got to secure the rebound, have an opportunity for a timeout, advance the ball.
Zoe Brooks with a game-high 18 points now.
Big time.
Yep, as you mentioned, her last trip, she missed 2. That trip, she made them both to extend the lead to 5 with just over 23 seconds left to go. And a smile breaks out on Brooks' face as she hits the sideline. But boy, Ole Miss showing grit. We talked about it.
Yeah.
And a couple of losses. USC and UConn, they were down big in this one, and just able to get gritty and make it close.
Well, this is what they do, right? They force you into a lot of turnovers. They can score in a hurry, and they can score in bunches because of their ability to bring that full court pressure and to get quick buckets, and that's what they've done in this fourth quarter.
But the trick now for Ole Miss as they move forward is to get it going a little bit earlier.
A little bit earlier.
Don't fall into that 22-point hole.
Exactly. Get aggressive from the jump, create offense from that defense, but they got to find a way to score in the quarter court.
Yeah, they have struggled with that, and NC State, you've mentioned it throughout this game, you thought maybe got a little too conservative too early offensively?
No, I think so. I think they got a little too conservative. They wanted to milk the clock. They really wanted to force Ole Miss to play the entire shot clock, which I get. but you still have to play to win. You still have to be aggressive. You still have to find ways to create mismatches, attack, and share the basketball.
3 starters back from their Final Four squad last year, James, Hayes, and Rivers. And a very tough early season schedule for Coach Wes Moore.
And Wes Moore isn't typically the guy who's going to take a foul here, right, to not give up a 3. There's still a lot of time left on the clock. You want to play good defense. You want to force contested shots. And most importantly, you want to finish each play with a rebound.
Ole Miss now out of timeouts. They do have the basketball. And will inbound it by their own bench. Wow, Brooks went for the steal. That's a backcourt violation as Sadler just stepped over the line.
That's a couple of tough ones for Ole Miss. They travel on the three-pointer right here, and Sadler trying to save it and getting into the backcourt. Missed opportunity. There have been a lot of missed opportunities for Ole Miss here tonight.
So Brooks acquitting herself after being called for the unsportsmanlike technical foul. A couple of big free throws and then forcing that turnover. Sanu picks up the foul. And now Sny Rivers heads to the free throw line. And Rivers, that might be her first point since the first quarter. Certainly since the first half, it is. Last time she scored was in the first quarter when she had 8, was very aggressive, going to the rim. With the Ole Miss Rebels. Todd Williams, nope. Chinu, couldn't get it. And there's another takeaway, this time by James. And NC State, who led by 22 in the third quarter, will travel away from this game being tied. And they're able to escape, winning by 7.
Well, this second half, in particular this fourth quarter, certainly not pretty. But to be able to come away with this win is important. And this is an NC State team that's having to learn to win in different ways. And we didn't talk a lot about it, but missing their entire front court from a year ago, learning to play with this more perimeter-oriented style system against a tough Ole Miss team who brings it on the defensive end. So this is a big-time win for NC State.
NC State outscored by 10 in the fourth quarter. They only scored 13 points, but it was enough. So they go to 5-3 on the season. The Rebels drop to that same record. And we'll see if NC State can get back in the top 25. And this is what the challenge looks right now. The SEC has won 6 of the 10 games, and Notre Dame and Texas are in a dogfight right now in South Bend. And remember, we have a lot more basketball coming up after us. Stanford and LSU and Duke, South Carolina play at the top of the hour over on ESPN. So NC State takes it 68-61. Zia James, 11 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 chipped tooth. But she comes away with the victory as State takes it 68-61. For Stephanie White and the rest of our great crew, I'm Pam Ward, as we say so long